All right, grade 8, we're starting investigation 10. Some concepts that we're going to talk about. The first one, they want you to know about principal. What is that? That is the amount of money that you start with. Okay, so that really means that this is the money that you have before you get interest on it. Okay, so it talks about simple interest and compound interest. Okay, simple interest and compound interest. Okay, now the better way to have interest is compound interest, and you'll find out. Simple interest, for example, is paid only on the principal. So if you had simple interest, for example, on $100, and that $100 every year they give you the simple interest on it and say you're getting 5% interest. Okay, so we're going to go down here with simple interest. You have $100. After the first year, they give you 5% of that in interest, which would be plus $5, right? And the next year, on that same thing, you'd get $5. The next year, you get $5. So when you add up everything that you have, you're adding these 3 5s to it. So you're going to be, after 3 years, you're going to have $115. Okay, so with compound interest, it's a little bit different. So with compound interest, say you start off with $100. After the first year, you're going to add $5 to it. So you're going to be at $105. Okay, and then next year, what's going to happen is they're going to take that 105, they're going to add your interest on it, and of course that would be another $5.25. So you're going to be at $110.25. All right, so the third year, you're going to have interest on that, which would add another $5.51. Okay, so then after year 3, you're at $115.76. Okay, so that adds quite a bit. So compound interest really just keeps adding on to whatever's there. So most bank accounts work this way. If you have $105 in there and you get interest on it, they will pay interest on everything that's on there, and that interest be added to everything that you have, and the next year onto that next group. That's how compound interest works. Now they're going to talk to you about how do we make a formula for this. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster, but how do you make a formula for this? Well, so they talk about the value. Your value is going to be your principal times 1 plus your interest, whatever that interest rate is, to the power of how many years? Okay, so I'll give you a fairly straightforward example for that. Okay, so say we had $1,000 in the bank, right? So that's our principal. We had $1,000 in the bank, and we want it at 5% interest, right? So it's 1 plus your 0.05. That's 5% interest. And let's see what happens when it goes in the bank for 10 years. So what you're going to see is your value equals 1,000 times 1.05 to the power of 10. So you're going to need your calculator to figure out 1.5 to the power of 10. So I'm going to quickly plop that into my calculator. 1.05. Hopefully my calculator will do that. Times 1,000. And of course, after that amount of years, your value is going to be at 1628.89, and then a whole bunch of change. So you can see that would grow quite a bit faster with compound interest. Now just talk about compound interest also, how does your money grow with compound interest versus simple? Simple interest is just going to be a line because you're adding, as you saw earlier, we just add 5 every year, so it would just nice straight line going up. But with compound interest, you're going to see this. The curve goes very fast. Whoops, I don't know why I did that, but the curve will go very fast all the way up. So simple and compound exponentially will grow very fast that way because it keeps adding that value to it. Okay, the other one that we want to talk about quickly in this lesson is a rule of 72. How long does it take for your money to double? Well, you take your interest rate, you take 72, and I'll use a round number so it's easy. Say our interest rate is 6%. We divide 72 by 6, and that will tell us 12. What does it 12 mean? That means 12 years to double. That means your money doubles every 12 years. So if you're going to go looking at things later on, if we look at 6 and 7, it asks a question. It says, if we have, what's the value of a $1,000 investment? $1,000 investment growing at 12% for 36 years. So we grab our 72, we divide it by 12, and we get an answer of 6. We know that our money's going to double every 6 years. Well, now I can build a chart, right? So we can put our years and then our dollars, right? So at 0, we're at 1,000. At 6 years, we're at $2,000. At 12 years, we're at $4,000. At 18 years, we're at $8,000. And it's asking 36 years, so let's keep going. 24, we're at $16,000. And then at, what did I miss? Yeah, 24, 30, we are at $32,000. Remember, 36 years. And 36 years, we are going to be at $64,000. So as you can see, it's worth saving money. If you're starting with $1,000, 36 years later, you've made that into $64,000 just by growing interest on it. So that's, in a nutshell, your lesson for today. I'll be available on Meet if you have